Greetings to all and welcome to Losing Our Marbles, a Talk for Two, Season 3, Episode 8. I really should check these things before I do. I think it's 8. I think we're on 8. I hope it's 8. If not, we'll fix it later. We have been trying to get this guy on for a while now, a couple seasons actually, and finally had some chance to do it, and then there was an internet outage, so then we had a chance to do it again, and that's now. So here we go. Before anything goes wrong, it's Recognizer!
Hey, everybody.
Hello!
How's it going tonight, Shens?
Going good. Welcome in. Good to have you here.
Yeah, it's good to be here.
You made it.
Good to finally be here.
You made it. Hooray. All right. Let's go right into it, because I don't want to wait. I'm ready to go. I'm ready to go. I want to go back to the beginning. Marbles Season 3.
Oh, that's a long time ago.
It's a long time, but you were there.
I was.
I wasn't there till 6.
Man,
and
it
I didn't
feels
start
so long
shooting until
ago.
7, but
Wow.
Season 3, what do you remember?
Well, I first started out as a racer, and halfway into Season 2, I was hanging out watching Federal Ghosts one night. And,
Federal Ghost still crushing it. Still crushing it.
He is. He's amazing. He just happened to be streaming marbles. It was the first time seeing marbles, and I'm like, well, what the heck is this, Fed?
Yeah.
You know, and he's like, we're playing some marbles, and then he raided, I believe, Pixel, and then that's how I just kind of fell in love with the game as a racer to begin with, right?
Right.
Like starting out, like most people do, I believe, starting out as a racer, and throughout the rest of Season 2, I finished off Season 2 just racing it, and then like right around the start of Season 3, I was like, you know what? I was already streaming at this point, maybe just a couple months fresh as a brand new streamer, and I was like, I want to give this a try. I was like, this seems like it would be a lot of fun to play with the community and you know, give it a go. So here we are now, however long later, you know.
18 seasons later. Over 2 years, right? We're in the third year now.
Yeah, we are now soon to be entering the third year, I think. Real soon.
Something. It's crazy. It's been what was it like back then? I know Spoo started it off with the breaking of the grind.
Yeah, Spoo.
Were you in on that, or?
Not so much. I just started out. I mean, I did my best as far as like you know, pumping out the experience, trying to get the streamer challenges, because they were different back in the start, right? They didn't have the same kind of streamer challenge makeup they do nowadays.
Yeah.
So it was different back then. Like you had to do was it like 500 races in a season, 1,000 races in a season, or 100 races in a single stream, which nowadays is nothing to people. But back then it was.
If you're not doing 100 races in a stream, like, are you even marbling, brah?
Yeah, like, do you even marble?
Well, to be fair, back then, 100 races was divided over what, 3 tracks? Maybe 5?
No, you know, I think when I first got in, we still had at least like maybe 12 or 14 tracks, something like that.
Like, well, yeah, okay, so you had the Season 1, Season 2 tracks, so...
Yeah.
Yeah, there's a decent amount, but Season 4 was the big track update.
Oh, yeah.
But
Season 4, and then, gosh, I don't remember what season... It came later, was the map editor, but then things just really went out of control after that, and it's really helped out. It's awesome. I love it. I built a new map the other day. Yeah.
Fancy.
I still want to play around a little bit more, but... And so, like, okay, so going back to what I remember from, like, Season 2, when I first started out as a racer, was Spoo and Bear Cheese. Spoo and Bear Cheese were grinding. That was the season. It was Fuel Survive, the grind of Fuel Survive, where they would just run Fuel Survive. Bear Cheese all the time, Fuel Survive, just nonstop. I was always in there hanging out, chatting with him. He was a good guy. And Spoo did the same thing, and then once Season 3 started, they got into the... Spoo started Marble Boot Camp with the 3-piece tracks or whatever.
Yeah.
10-second timers, go.
Yep. He broke it. Cracked the code. What was your favorite part of way back then? Was that all, like, what encompassed that as a memory for you?
Gosh, I don't know. Maybe just the the feel of it being so fresh. I miss that.
Mm-hmm.
Like as it being so that new gripping excitement. Like like don't get me wrong, I still love
That
marbles and
new
I still
marble
play it to this
smell.
day.
We don't
It's
have that new marble smell
yeah,
anymore.
yeah, the new marble smell. You got it. That fresh feeling when you first find marbles and you're getting into it for the first couple seasons, and you find this passion for this new game that you found. And the community is amazing, and so you get pulled in, and you're just like, this is awesome.
That
I
was
still have that
actually one
feeling,
of
but it's
my.
just not. It's not that fresh feeling, you
Right.
know.
It was actually one of my follow-up questions on that line. Is like, what is the marbles addiction? Like, what is it in your opinion?
For me, the draw is just it's all encompassing, right? Like, I mean, the graphics, it's visually appealing. I
Mm-hmm.
love that about it. It's visually appealing, and it's only gotten more visually appealing over time.
For sure.
And the community, just the whole community aspect of it. People coming in wanting to just hang out, drop a marble. Whether for me, it's whether they're chatting or not. Just I'm happy to have them coming in, dropping a marble. Even if they're
Mm-hmm.
not saying hi. Because like I've had people who have dropped marbles and not really said much, but then after a while they might break down a comfort barrier and they might actually say hi or something and
Right.
introduce themselves.
I think, in my opinion, there's a level of excitement, and it can appeal to different people in different ways. So there's the level of excitement for people that want to win the race.
Definitely.
There's the level of excitement for those crazy moments when someone dies or someone skips a really big skip chance or whatever. There's a level of excitement for what streamers do with the game. If it's like, Ross Battle doing his zombie tag or stuff like that. There's excitement for new innovations in the game, like making new maps or coming up with a new way to have things happen in a marbles run. And then, like you said, in the community itself can organize events. And there's just that communal excitement of like, oh, we're all going to get together and do this on this day at this time. It's like, yeah. And like 400 people show up, right? Like,
Yeah, that's kind of what I mean by all encompassing. It's
right.
just
So
it just kind of gets you.
I think it's because there's different levels and different ways to find excitement in it. And I think that's what the addiction draws on. It's a way for everyone to have something to look forward to every race, as it were. It's interesting. It's unique. It's unique. Any questions in your bag relevant to those topics we've touched on so far?
Oh, geez, what? Like, oh man, marbles. Like, so what inspired you to build your first 1 hour track? What
Mm.
inspired that?
It was the new loop piece when
Oh,
Pixel first released.
so after he redesigned the loop, that's what did it.
He introduced the loop piece, and it was a little janky, but it still had the 1 loop to 3 loops option. And my approach to any new piece, starting piece or otherwise, is, well, we better rotate this 90 degrees on every axis and see what happens. So I rotated the loop piece at 3 loops, 90 degrees on the X, dropped a marble in it, and the marble just. And I was like, well, can we do 2? And it was like, whoop, and you don't even need a glass covering. It actually stays in the coil without glass and survives the transition most of the time. So my idea was I'll start at positive 1 million, and then I'll just coil all the way down to negative 1 million. Start piece, end piece, make it a map.
The towering snake.
So I did that, but it only took about like 100 pieces. Like, it did not use all the pieces because that's how big the coils are. And I was like, well, and I have to like shen it up a little bit.
Now I gotta make it go somewhere.
So I created a little jump pad that launched your marble all the way back up to the top. And then I made a switch section. So I needed to make sure that the first marble didn't unlock it and then the last marble got in. So I used stairs. I used 2 stairs as a delay. So the marbles came in, they worked their way upstairs in one direction, and then they worked their way upstairs in the other direction. Then they unlocked it, and more or less, by the time the first marble unlocked it, all the marbles were somewhere in the stairs. And then through the first lock, you jumped back into the starting piece, back into the coils, and then you would go all the way back down again, come up again, and then you would go through. And then I was like, okay, I need to put a wind bin. And I was like, well, at this point, it takes 77 minutes to get through the coil. So you're going like 140, 150 minutes just to get to this point. I was like, I need to reward anyone who actually goes this far. So I shot a cannon at the Y boundary positive, and then the X boundary negative, and then the Y boundary negative, and then the X boundary positive. So you started at the highest boundary, you went down to the lowest boundary, and then you hit the other 4 boundaries at the end. So you literally covered all 6 boundaries of the map.
Nice.
And the way I did that is I just shot a cannon, and I had these funnels with these little catching rings on them. And then that got you into a cannon, which shot you into the next funnel with a catching ring. And so, like, the end was amazing because you're, like, hurling 1.5 million coordinates from side to side to side. And it was a really exciting finish. So it was, like, kind of the payoff if you actually got through the entire map. And Pixel watched me run it for the first time. And he was like, yeah, that was interesting. But what if it was like the cannon part, but for the whole hour? And I was like, oh boy, now you done it. Now you done it.
Now you got the gears working.
Now you done pushed the button. So yeah, he pushed the button, and as is well known, the first not 1 hour track. What I did, that was basically my research project. So instead of like trying to go for an hour, I just had each section was working with a single piece. So it was like work with the open pans, work with the mogul pans, work with the intersection piece, work with the colander piece, work with the funnel pieces. Like each section was just trying to make each piece take as long as possible.
Yeah, gotcha.
And only got it up to about 40 minutes. And most of the time, like a lot of marbles could finish it in about half an hour. So what I learned from that was what pieces did and didn't work and why. And then that's when Season 15's 1 hour track was born. Because I was like, okay, I'm just going to erase all these pieces from my toolbox. I'm just going to use these pieces. And that forced me to create Season 15. It was like, I can only use these pieces. So like I can only use a stair and a long bin and a water wheel. It's like, okay, so how can we piece those together to make it take as long as humanly possible?
Were there any specific pieces introduced in Season 15 that helped like just blossom ideas for the first track?
I think it may have happened the season before, but I think Season 15 was when the shape funnels option came open. Which allowed me to do the maze on the final
shape
stage.
Of the funnels.
Yeah.
Nice.
I think that was it, because I was able to do things I wasn't able to do before. So there's section 5 with the mystery tunnels that you have to go straight up. And
yep,
the last section,
square funnels.
Yeah. And then the last section with the maze, those were both playing with the new funnel shapes.
Nice.
I think that was the one thing that changed for Season 15. But it's been a journey. So this is my 7th this season. I've made 7 1 hour tracks.
I love them all.
I
love them all.
It's crazy. I was gonna ask you about your side of the 1 hour tracks. What's your opinion?
Oh, I love the 1 hour tracks, man.
What is it? Like what's the good, the bad?
For me, it's just, like you said, that excitement, right? That excitement of who's going to be the marble to break that cube. That's like a big moment, right? Who's going to be the marble to break the cube? Come on, break the cube, do it. Get us to the next section. Just making it to that next area. I enjoy them so much that when I did the marathon, I ran the one track for 4.5 hours.
I recall there being a problem.
Oh, but I had a blast doing it. It's so fun. And even the smallest things, like we had a marble stuck, and Like I would think I was tired at that point, but I was like all excited to see like, come on, somebody hit this marble and get him unstuck.
Mm-hmm.
It's just so fun. The challenges, the things you put together to make the marbles work together to advance, and
Mm-hmm.
yeah, it's a good time. I really enjoy them.
Yeah, I
Have you?
think that was one of the more fun ones to build was the cooperative track, where every section after the second required you to have two marbles do something instead of
I
one.
like that one. Where like a lot of collision based
Yeah,
advancements. You need them to collide. Yeah,
because
yeah, that's good
there's
stuff.
nothing inherent in marbles that requires two. Um, like a marble hits a cube and the cube breaks, or a marble reaches a portal and then portals through it. Right? Like there's no wait one, and like there's a switch, but the switches are like slow and they clip marbles through the track, and it's not always good.
Yeah,
Right? So
I like the new gates.
the gates, I gotta kind of quantify how to best utilize them. But there's some stuff there too with the gates also, yeah. So yeah, I think.
I had to play around with those a little bit though. It's the first time I tried the first time I tried building a track with the new gate piece. I
Hmm.
had no idea what I was doing. I'm like, why won't it open? Like, what am I doing wrong?
Yeah, yeah. Gotta set the com keys and you gotta get everything else going, yada yada yada. It's gonna be very nice next season because I now have 10 portal comms. I have 10 gate comms. I
Oh my
have
gosh.
10 booster comms. Like I have all the options now. It's gonna be very nice. So looking forward to that. Speaking of which, Tuesday, 30th, I'm doing
What's that?
all seven.
You are?
Yeah.
Oh, dude. Tuesday. That's one of my days off too.
It's the last day before season 22. So
Nice.
if you want in on that, I mean,
Oh yeah, I'll definitely have to get in on that.
great. Good stuff. Cool. Where to go from here? Guess we could stay in the streaming sphere for a little bit. Um, I notice, and you probably notice, having done this for a very long time, there is a waxing and waning of viewers from stream to stream and in and out of marbles. Um, and it's weird because like you might see someone for a while and then you don't see them at all, but that turns out they're always somewhere else in another stream. So they haven't left the marbles community; they're just hanging out elsewhere.
Oh yeah. Oh yeah.
And other times you'll see people that have hung out in another stream forever, and then one day they decide to show up in your stream and then they never leave. Um, is that something you like consciously navigate with this ebb and flow of viewers both in and out of your channel and in and out of marbles?
I wouldn't say consciously, no. I don't really like worry about it or think about it too much, but I do notice it.
Hmm.
What you're talking about, yeah, yeah. We're like, cause like you said, I've been around since season 3, and like there've like seasons where I had viewers who were rolling with me for so many seasons, then they just don't come by anymore. But like you said, I see them just hanging out regularly in another person's
Hmm.
channel. But that's people finding, like maybe they found me first, but then they found somebody else they liked better. It's just nature of streaming, right?
Hmm. Hmm. It's it's interesting. Do you find yourself doing that? Are there streams you used to hang out in and don't hang out in anymore, or streams you never hung out in but now you can't keep away from?
Oh man, sometimes I just feel spread too thin.
Yeah,
Because I
that's my
try to get
problem.
around,
Yeah.
right? Yeah. I got people like I used to hang out with all the time before I started streaming. And then once I started streaming, like I still go by there as often as I can, but then other channels where it's like, oh, I used to hang out there, I gotta try and get back there sometime. But yeah, I just feel spread too thin. Just not enough time to visit everybody that you've met over the almost 3 years now.
Yeah, it's like there's a lot of people I'm not following, and people are always like, "You're not following this person." It's like, nope. I have a very narrow list, and it only serves as a reminder. Like
You
everyone
don't have to
else,
follow everybody.
I'm actively remembering to go check out for various reasons. But there's certain people like I need to be notified that are streaming. So it is weird trying to balance out all of that because there's a lot of people, a lot of good people, and you wish you had a half hour for everybody.
I do, and sometimes I do like I'll make a day of it where instead of just hanging out with one person for like 4 or 5 hours, I'll hop in somebody's channel, like you said, I'll hop in someone's channel for a half hour, say hi, hang out for a minute, and then be like, okay, I'm gonna go, hang out with somebody else and just do a couple stream hops, and say hi to a few different people.
Mm-hmm.
Try to get out there and say hi to peeps you haven't seen in a while.
I hear you. It's good stuff. What else you got? What's in your arsenal at the moment?
So, tilted. I've always kind of looked up to you as like the king of tilting, right? Because like when Tilted first came out, you're like the godfather of tilting, right? So how does it feel to see other streamers really stepping up in a big way? Like there's some really good tilters out there.
It's good. I'm glad I don't have to do it, like
Okay, I see that. Don't have to hold the mantle anymore.
Getting to those benchmark levels like 80 and 50 and 60. It takes, like, I make the joke with Dark Madden, and like I'll joke that I don't think he's better than me, he just has more time to tilt, which is kind of like silly because more time to tilt means more practice means he is better, right? Like,
yeah.
But I think
Semantics.
what people overlook is that there is a certain mindset and a certain grind required to reach high levels like that. Like, look, right now, Dark Madden's only hit 53 for the season. So he hit 56 last season, but he hasn't been back there since he hit it last season. And that's because there's a certain mindset and there's a certain grind. You got to get through the bad RNG till you have a good run, and your mind needs to be in the right place when you get the good run. And that takes at least 2 weeks. From my experience, if you want to get a world record tilt distance, it takes 2 solid weeks of grinding, full commitment. And I don't have time for that.
See, and that's what I've always said has been my problem. Like,
right?
Not only does tilted can get me a little tilted sometimes, I get a little upset, but I've never put in the time to really get good enough at it to, try and get far enough. But
right.
I put a little bit of effort in this season versus past seasons. Man, it's hard.
Oh yeah.
So hats off to you guys that are like, wow, like
the difficulty is certainly up there. Yeah.
Yeah, I think I remember one time when I think was Ken went up when he was like the first one to make it to like 55 or something like that, like a few seasons
he hit 50
back.
for the first time. It was a big
and I was
deal.
watching it, and my hands were sweating, and I'm not even playing the game.
Yeah.
Like I'm sweating watching. I'm like, oh my gosh, this is intense.
Yeah. It's a journey. It's certainly a journey, and there's more to it than just being good at it as far as distance tilting goes. And then you have the other things. It's like you have the speed tilting, which I've been touching into, and you have 100% tilting for grinder points, and there's a lot of different skills required for the different ways to tilt.
Yeah, I like people attacking it with different aspects like that.
I try to be as knowledgeable in all of them as possible. So there's the inherent division of talent, which means I'm probably never going to be top in any one category ever again, as I pour tea all over myself. But it's a big cup. It's hard to manage. But I would like to maintain a certain, like, most knowledgeable tilter, right? Because, obviously the best person to go for distance tilting advice is Dark Madden. The best person to go to speed tilting advice is 71. But some people have language barriers there, and they're not always kind of using microphones or engaging chat that frequently. So,
well, they don't really run. Does Dark Man do anything like a school of tilted thing like you?
Not to my knowledge. He does races from time to time, so you could probably catch him when he's doing races to talk about stuff. But so that's kind of where I have my foothold at the moment. Is just like, I may not have the highest record in any one area, but you could literally drop into Sunday teaching tiltings and ask anything and I'll have a reasonable answer for any of it. So that's where I'm
Oh,
at.
I've even learned a few tricks over the seasons from from you. So, but like I said, I don't play it enough to get good at it.
To each our own, right? To each our own. It's
Exactly.
good.
Seeing like so many, it's like so since community, the track builder has become so popular for the community, I've noticed a lot of streamers just running nothing but community tracks.
Yep.
Absolutely nothing but community tracks, right?
Mm-hmm.
I am a fan of the originals, like all of the
For
developer
sure.
tracks. I love the community tracks too. So like usually when I'm running a Grand Prix, I like to mix it up. Like
Right.
or like I'll do a Grand Prix of community tracks and then I'll do a Grand Prix of the in-game tracks because I love the in-game tracks. The thrill, another one of these excitement things, that thrill of chasing the ghost,
Yep.
right? Like I
Yep.
love going for the ghost.
Gotta go for the ghost. I think there's also the reliability of the community maps or the studio maps because they're not all great, but they all kind of hold true to the same standards. Like most are below 50% death, except for a couple exceptions. Um, Most are in that 2 to 5 minute range. They all have interesting track mechanics operating in them. Like there's a reliability to them that I think people like.
Well, yeah,
Cause
and then like some of them even have like unique pieces
right,
only to those races.
exactly. So that's kind of what I see as the biggest draw to the studio maps is that there's that reliability. Is you could really hit that random track button and not really ever run into a problem, whatever you're doing. So I like it. I like it a lot.
Oh yeah.
Let's see. I feel like you and I are in a similar boat also as far as streaming goes because you have a job.
Yep.
Yeah, I have a job. How do you? How's that going for you?
It's going. I go to work. Yeah, I go to work on my schedule, do my thing. Try to stay busy. We're a
Hmm.
little slow, but at least I still, like they got rid of most people where I work, so I'm just glad to still be there.
That's good. Happy you still have income coming from that in these hard
Yes,
times.
exactly,
That's good for you.
exactly.
But do you ever find yourself needing to like prioritize one of the two?
Yeah, I don't even know if I would call it prioritizing so much as like sometimes I just can't muster the willpower I would or even the ability to stream just
Mm,
because I might have just too tired or I'm just like I just need a day off, and it's like if I'm working and I'm streaming like it's no
yeah,
downtime, right?
yeah,
So you're constantly going, your brain's constantly functioning, and you're never really getting that like good rest that people need. So sometimes it's just I like taking a day off, like I ain't talking to anybody, I'm just doing nothing. Sometimes you need that.
yeah. I just came off of my 7 days a week schedule. So I've been doing that since July a year ago. So it's about a little over a year and a half. Probably, I guess we could call it 18
Like
months.
with your like job and streaming.
But yeah, I haven't always had a job for the whole time. And I've been doing like part time 4 hour mornings for now. So been prioritizing it, but just kind of got to that point where I felt like I had successful streams and not successful streams, and it would be better to drop the lesser successful ones and put more time into the successful ones and see how big I can make them. So that's kind of where I've been going with.
Well, and I'd say one of the things I've noticed over my time is one of the things I took away from watching Pixel too is when he was talking about streaming and was just consistency.
Mm-hmm.
Being consistent with what you're doing, whether it's marbles or whatever you're playing, if it's variety, just be there. be there for your viewers. You know, like the more time you take off, you're gonna start to see that slip in viewers and whatever, you know, you're looking for from streaming. So, and I've noticed that, you know, when I'm like taking time off from streaming, or like if I'm going hard at it, like streaming every day for a month or two, you know, like
Mm-hmm.
you notice that change if you're more consistent with your streaming and you're there more for your viewers. So yeah, you know, I kind of see it, the like the ebb and flow you were talking about.
It's I think for me anyway, it's a little weird when I'll have time to stream and then choose not to and try to like either take time for myself or get ahead on some other work like producing videos or stuff like that. So it's there's an adjustment certainly when you go down from busier to not as busy. I think it's easier going from not as busy to busy because then you have such little time to yourself that you only do what's important. So like your schedule kind of sorts itself out very quickly. Whereas when you go the other way, you're kind of like, all right, how do I want to actually allocate this time? Like, do I just want to watch YouTube videos for an hour, or do I want to try to get an hour ahead on
Am I
my
gonna
video
make good
editing?
use of this
Or
time?
right, so um, there is that weird adjustment, and I probably should be putting more time into my social media. So I've been looking at that for sure, and
Yeah, I'm
I
horrible at that.
just caught up with all of my videos
Oh
this
god.
week. So the vacation because the problem is I took a vacation right at the beginning of the season, and beginning of the season is when I do all of my end of season videos and the 1 hour track. So basically, started the season a week behind, and then on top of that, I had record hunters and a couple other things going that I needed to keep going. So it was like trying to catch up on the whole week of work of beginning of season in the middle of a season.
And it made you, did it make
So
you feel off? Like
it
you just
was it
like,
was very weird. So I finally finished the
yeah.
last of the video edits this week, so that was good. But now I'm in that position of like, okay, so where do I want to allocate this time? Do I put it just into making the current streams better, or can I start putting some more into social media? Can I start new YouTube videos? Like, where can I go with it? So it's weird. It's weird. What's your social media take? How do you approach social media?
Yeah. I'm not that great at it. I mean,
So
I,
many of us
I was on
streamers are. It's really weird.
I
It's
was I
really
was
weird.
on Facebook for a few years, and then I just deleted my account because I just stopped. After I started streaming, I kind of stopped going on Facebook.
Well, it's not,
I
I
started.
don't think
I,
Facebook is much of a advantage to anyone as far as
yeah,
social media
yeah,
goes.
it was yeah. Well, and then Twitter, like, so I started up a Twitter account and tweeted every now and then, but I kind of can't. I don't even think I've tweeted in over a year now. Like,
Hmm. Hmm.
I don't really use it as much, you know. I don't know. I don't feel the need to right now. Maybe.
Right. It's it's good stuff. Do you have any like near ambitions for your stream? Like, is there a goal you set, or is it more just like a hangout kind of a hobby thing?
It's a hangout hobby thing that hopefully could grow into something, but you know, like no, I'm not educated enough as far as like there's a lot of stuff I wish I knew how to do. I'm everything
Yeah.
I've learned from streaming I'm mostly self-taught.
Yeah. Yeah.
So
It's a
like yeah, there's
big
a lot of
learning
stuff that
curve.
yeah, it's huge learning curve for yeah, you know, so I'm limited by my own abilities basically is, you know. But I love doing what I do, you know. Like this would be my dream to stream full time, you know,
Right.
like
Right.
not have to go to work, but actually this would be my job, you know, hanging out with my people, talking all the time, having a
Right.
good time.
Would be nice. It would be
Yeah,
nice.
right? It would be. It would be. So it's and you know like some of us while we're trying to achieve our dream, we work hard on the side. That's what we got to do.
Hmm. Um, Where to go from here? I mean, I got so many ways we could go here. Um, I know you can't really talk about your job. We could talk around your job though, right? Can we talk
Yeah, you can
around?
talk around it.
You can talk around your job. Um, Airplanes. They're things,
Airplane
right?
parts and accessories, and yeah.
Yeah. What's your favorite? What's your favorite flying vehicle?
Well, I've only ever flown in an airplane, so I mean, I've never ridden in a helicopter or anything else like that. So,
Even from like a design standpoint, anything that always
oh,
struck
design
you
standpoint would
interesting?
be a fighter jet,
Yeah.
something like that. I was always like, when I was younger, I was always into like fighter jets and stuff like that.
Yeah. I think F-16s just have a certain like look to them, right? It's
Sharp ones.
yeah, it's
All
just
the F ones, F-16, 18, 23, whatever
yeah,
they got now. I don't even know.
yeah.
I don't know what number they're up to.
This kind of have that iconic image embedded, as it were. It's good like that. Do you think it's the future to have flying vehicles for general transit, or do you think road-bound vehicles is a better way to go? Or like Futurama tubes, where we just mail tube everyone everywhere.
Oh, I like that. I like that. I like the tube idea. Hypertubes.
Yeah.
Hypertubes. There you
You
go.
think you think tubes work?
I don't know if flying vehicles would be smart. Like flying personal vehicles.
Mm-hmm.
I I just think that there'd be like cars raining out the sky because people don't know how to drive on the ground as
Right,
it is.
right. trying to trying to navigate three-dimensional space rather than two-dimensional space is a whole different ballgame. Anyone who's played like a flight simulator or a space fighter game, I think, quickly realizes how inadequate they are at navigating three-dimensional
Yeah.
space. Because like you could literally be flying in the same direction, but if you're at 0 degrees, 120 degrees, or 240 degrees, right? Like it looks completely different, right? And then same with navigating is like if you're straight and you pull up, you're gonna still be in line with your target. But if you're on 120 and you pull up, you're gonna be going, you know, off your target. So it's
Be
weird.
very dangerous.
It's weird. Do you fly or have you only flown?
I've only flown.
Would you ever think of learning to fly, or
Nah.
not an investment you'd be willing to go for?
No, no. Because I mean, like I don't mind flying, but I'm not like a fan of it. It's just
Gotcha.
the fastest way to get somewhere far away.
Anything you do want to like learn in the near future? Some skill you'd like to acquire?
No, no, nothing really.
Not like axe throwing or
Oh gosh, no. I've done that though
mandala
at the Renaissance.
painting or
I've done that at the Renaissance Festival, throwing battle axes at the target.
it's fun. It's fun.
Heavy, a lot heavier than I thought it was going to be.
Depends. I have a pair of throwing axes myself, but yeah, the blunt force trauma is actually the biggest advantage of a throwing axe, right? It's like with a throwing dagger, it's all about accuracy, whereas with a throwing axe, it's more about the force behind it. So it can be. It's different. It's different. For sure. So Renaissance fairs. Have you had any fun at any of those?
Oh yeah, I used to like going to Ren Fest all the time. I never did any dressing up or anything like that going out there, but always had a good time going out there eating the
Anyone
turkey
in
legs.
particular?
Huh?
So I'm close to the PA Ren Fair, and that one's quite big.
Oh, ours Minnesota Ren
Okay.
Fest.
Any particularly interesting attraction they have there?
Oh gosh, what do they call them? Oh man, it's like I don't even remember, like the rat catcher or something like that, and the
Ooh.
thief.
Yes,
And
I want. That's if I ever worked at a Ren Fair, I'd want to be a thief. I would love it. I would
he was
love
like the rat catcher's like eating eggs and like he's like eating them all sloppy and they're falling out of his mouth and the dude's laying on the ground below him like catching the stuff that's falling out of his mouth and he's eating it like oh oh they try to give you some realism, you know. I mean,
it. Yep, yep. It's at the PA Ren Fair. The two I remember are there's the human chest, which is always a lot of fun, And then obviously the jousting tournaments are a lot of fun, but
Oh yeah.
there's I think they do a Queen Elizabeth for, is it Queen Elizabeth the first, or I'm trying to remember who it was. Might have been Catherine the Great. I don't know. They do one of the famous queens, kind of like a part history, part theater kind of a thing. And they have like scheduled shows where you can see like dramas and other things. But then they also have them where they're just like walking through the town, and they actually like interact with the townspeople, and they try to like
Yep.
they do a pretty good job of like recreating the power dynamic of like, so it's like there's a couple like noblemen that always go around being very snobbish and talking down to everyone and just completely insufferable, and the moment the queen walks by, they're completely well behaved and they have every manner in the world and they have these elegant bows, and it's just like, oh, I love it. I love it. I love it.
I think another thing I really like about the Renfest too is just like here in Minnesota they do rain or shine. And so like there's been days where I went where it was just like sopping, like ground's muddy, and it's just like, deal with it. It's Renfest, deal with it.
Yeah.
You're walking through mud, like, don't bring shoes you don't want to ruin.
That just adds to the ambiance.
Yeah, you get that the rain and the hay smell. It's good times.
It's good stuff. Good stuff. I like it. Anything else you want to get into, or do you want to start heading on over to that old mystery mix-up?
Oh, you want to do some mix-up?
We can do some mix-up if you're ready to do some mix-up. Ladies and gentlemen, it's time for the mystery mix-up! Yeah! Whew. There we go. All right, we're going to use this screen. It worked. Great. Okay. So here, we have a thing. We have a thing. Here's what we're gonna do.
We're doing a thing.
Some of you may know, some of you may not know. Rec0gn1z3r, a bit of a frisbee fan. Frisbee golf, is that the specific frisbee?
Yeah, that's what I call it, frisbee golf.
Frisbee golf, disc golf, I think some people call it.
Yeah, disc golf, that might be more accurate.
I guess we could probably talk about ultimate frisbee in the second half, but here's what I've thought. I thought, why not accrue a pile of objects, and we'll just rank these out for frisbee golf items in a S to F tier fashion. I think it would be good. So we'll start with the traditional frisbee. This is the traditional frisbee. This is your throwing around in the backyard, bring it to the beach.
Traditional lightweight plastic frisbee.
Big curved lip on the edges.
Kind you'd see somebody throwing on the beach.
Yeah. So, some may or may not know, not the best disc golf frisbee.
No, it's not.
It's not. Very good for trick shots. Very good to get curves and returns and other things in. And if you throw it right, you can get some distance, but you have very little wiggle room in getting that right. So where would you place the standard frisbee?
I think you got it placed right in the right spot, right in the
Because
middle there.
not even A. We wouldn't even put it up to A.
No, it doesn't even get an A.
It doesn't go up to A. It stays at B. All right. So on that comment, we now have the actual disc golf frisbee, which is flatter. It has a sharper angle, but a shallower edge. So it's kind of like a gnome hat. I don't know how else to describe it. It's weird.
It's a denser material made out of rubber instead of plastic.
Yes.
It's more weighted.
Yes. So just from like a throwing standpoint, what are the biggest differences in like how you throw them?
Some people throw differently. Like I have a buddy who just throws with just like a thumb and a forefinger. I use 3 fingers. Mm-hmm. Some people flick.
I can do 3-finger flick. 3-finger flick.
Yeah,
I can get it pretty good.
Flick. I'm actually ambidextrous.
If I need it horizontal,
right?
Yeah. If I need it horizontal, I'll do 3-finger forehand, and then if I'm going for an arc shot, I'll do backhand, and
there you go.
Probably 3 fingers still also. So all depends, but Yeah. So is that the ideal thing? You think nothing better?
Oh, that's the ideal thing. Nothing better.
Made for it. Hard to
Yeah,
argue against it.
you can't beat the tool made for the job.
That's right. Hard to. All right. So discus is same shape as the disc golf frisbee.
Wait, is that like the Olympic discus?
Yes,
kind of
Olympic
thing?
discus. It's the same shape, but it's significantly heavier.
Yeah, that's not going to do any good.
Well, I mean,
Maybe if you're
it
putting,
depends. I think on the
could be a
course.
putter.
Not all. Yeah, as a putter, it'd be good. I think, and it also depends on the course. If you don't have too far to go, right? I think the discus could work in your favor.
And if you're really strong.
Yep. And especially if you land it on a roll, right? Like if you land it and it rolls, it's gonna roll a long time. You get a good roll out of
pretty
that.
Good, yeah.
Be a good chipper, probably. For that, like getting onto the green, I would probably use a discus to get onto the green, as it were. Where would you? Where are we putting this?
Just based on like your average length of a frisbee golf hole and how far away the pin actually is, I would put it at a C.
Yeah, I wouldn't say it's the worst because, like we said, like putter or chipper, it might have some kind of utility.
It still has some use.
Yeah, not quite there. All right, and sorry if you guys can't quite see what these pictures are. We'll describe them as they go. A dinner plate.
No, like a glass dinner plate, not a paper plate, right?
Ceramic, yeah.
Ceramic, okay.
Ceramic dinner plate. It's plastic. I don't think you could get any.
Yeah, no.
You couldn't get any force behind it. The wind would just take it away. But a dinner plate. I think a dinner plate could work.
It might be able to hold its own like the normal frisbee. It's got a little bit more weight to it too, though. So, and actually, it might even be heavier than the regulation frisbee.
Probably. It could break. That is a factor.
Most likely would break. Most likely.
Probably would break. You would need a lot, but I think it's still possible. I think I would put it higher than the discus. I think.
Just don't use your mom's dishes.
Yeah. So, I'm happy leaving it at B. Are you happy leaving it at B?
Yeah. B feels right for that one.
Frying pan. How do we?
All right.
So, it's technically still frisbee shaped, but it has a handle, which could give you more leverage. You might be able to get more hock out of it.
Handle could be helpful.
Right? You could almost, go like full Olympics on it. Get like two hands, swing around, and like.
I'm not seeing a lot of roll out of it with the handle.
Definitely no roll. You're not getting any roll in this. This is
no roll out of that.
This is probably chipper only. You wanna get right up next to the green and just plop right on it. But
or you could get a really good skip maybe if you flicked it and tried to get it to like skip off the bottom of the pan.
I mean, like it's because obviously with how heavy it is, it probably wouldn't go as far as a frisbee or a dinner plate.
No, yeah.
So maybe drops down to C, I think.
Yeah, it's definitely a C.
Drops down to C. All right. Slice of bologna, I think. There's a good joke. Man. If you guys don't know, you should go watch Good Mythical Morning. Actually, no, I think it was just Rhett and Link actually on their private channel.
I like those guys.
But Rhett and Link did a edible frisbee golf game. I think they used tortillas.
Oh, I gotta check that out.
You definitely should watch it. It's very good. But a piece of bologna. I mean, okay, so you're not getting very far with the bologna.
No.
You're not. But it is edible.
It is edible.
It's edible. Sticky.
I feel like if you tried to throw it, it would just fall apart when you tried to. It
probably wouldn't work. You're right. So we're going C or F with this bad boy. Where are we?
Let's place that at C because it is at least a snack.
Okay, yeah. It may not win you the game, but you'll at least have the energy to finish.
And if you got the frying pan, if you like fried bologna, go for it that way.
There you go. Fried bologna on the go. Perfect. Paper airplane. Like a good one.
Like a good one.
Like a good one. Like one of those world record paper airplane throw planes.
That's gonna be like based on the wind. Like, is it a windy day? Is it a calm day? On a calm
Right,
day, that
right.
thing could go the distance, but on a windy day, that thing ain't going nowhere.
Mm-hmm.
Well, depending on if the wind's with you or against. Yeah. Ah, man, man. I don't know.
I think it's around B. I almost am tempted to bump regular frisbee up to A,
Are you
and then
tempted?
keep dinner plate and paper airplane at B. I almost feel like paper airplane and frisbee could both be bumped up to A and keep the dinner plate at B at this
The
point.
paper airplane at A too, huh?
Yeah, not like because just by comparison, I think a paper airplane would be more successful than a dinner plate if it's a good one.
I don't know. I could probably toss that dinner plate pretty good.
Right, right. But if you know how to throw paper airplanes, you can get a paper airplane to go pretty far too. So
All right. So are you thinking?
maybe we'll do this for now.
I like that. I like that.
We'll leave it at that for now.
I'm okay with that.
Okay. We'll leave it there. A live snake.
A live snake.
A live snake. Now, most people don't know this, but you can throw a snake pretty far.
Well, yeah, I bet your adrenaline really helped that out.
It's a heavy rope, and if you've ever seen like a mongoose or a bird or something, like you can throw a snake a good distance. Also, the advantage, it could continue to move closer to the basket after you've thrown it. Right? Like,
added distance after the throw.
Right,
I like
right.
it.
Like it could work in your favor, where it
I like
actually
it.
goes.
It could
closer
crawl right
to,
into the basket.
It could crawl right into the basket if it's shady enough. It might actually go for it. So there's some hidden perks to the snake. I think that is underrated.
I think the snake could go for a C then.
You want to go C for
Yeah.
as a wild card?
Wild card. Wild card on the chance that it could crawl.
You're 3 throws down on the final hole, and you're like, I gotta go for it, and you just snake off of the tee.
Pulling out my snake.
You just snake off of the tee and hope it crawls in the basket for a hole in one, right?
Everyone in your playlist like, what?
It counts. Rules don't say I can't use a snake. They don't. All right, last one. Trombone. Where are we? What are we doing with the trombone?
Well, that's definitely an F.
Full F on the trombone.
If we cut off the tip of the cone of the trombone,
that's why I thought of the
frisbee,
trombone, because it has a frisbee portion.
A portion, yeah, right. But if we're talking about like trying to throw the whole thing, then that ain't happening.
It's kind of the frying pan again, but without any advantages of the frying pan. It's a worse frying pan.
You're not getting a skip. You're not getting a roll. You're getting maybe 20 feet tops out of that thing.
Spoken like a true professional. Well, I think we did it. What a list. Well done. Look at that list. Beautiful. GG's everyone. Polite golf claps all around. Well, thank you, sir. That was delightful. I think we've thoroughly mixed ourselves here. And on time, no less. An hour in. Look at that. Do you want to keep talking about frisbee for a bit here, and then you can kind of take over for your half, or?
Yeah, it's cool. I'm kind of excited. I'm just telling Shens I'm kind of excited because it's getting nice out there, so I might actually be able to get to go play here soon. We got a lot of courses near me too, so I got options.
Ooh, that's nice. I don't know if I have any courses near me. I have golf courses near me. You'd think golf courses would invest, or maybe not if they're country clubs, right? Because then they kind of want to keep a certain clientele, I suppose.
So we got lots of those here too in Minnesota. Lots of golf courses, but oddly enough, I've never been golfing, like actual golfing. I've never done the driving range, but I've never played a round of golf.
I don't know if I'd want to do full golfing, but I did like one of those small golfs where it's 18 holes, but it's, like 100 yards rather than 400 yards.
It's all par threes.
Yeah, it's for people who don't really know how to golf.
People like me. All right,
where
is it?
That was pretty fun because, there's obviously a big skill curve in golfing. So being able to at least finish a game without taking a billion years is nice, for sure.
That's actually one of the things I love about frisbee golf too. Is like most courses are 9, 12 holes, so you can like play around in an hour and be like, hey, you want to play again? And just play right back through it again.
Right. Good stuff. I like it. Did you ever do any ultimate frisbee?
Only in high school.
Hmm.
But yeah, I never really got together with friends or anything and played any ultimate like that. But I do remember playing it in high school out on the football field.
Yeah, I didn't get into it until college, but we had some good teams in college, so I was able to get into it pretty good and learn some good tricks. That's how I learned how to do the flat forehand, because you can pivot all you want with a defender in front of you, but they're never gonna. You can just you literally just reach around them and forehand it right past them. So it's always good to be able to do that.
I am not very good at flicking. Nope.
Not good under pressure.
So that's why I became ambidextrous when it comes to frisbee golf. I can throw right or left-handed, but I can't flick. I have a hard time flicking.
Got it.
So I learned how to throw with my left, so I could get when you got certain trees in certain spots, you gotta be able to throw it around one way or the other.
Mm-hmm. Makes sense. Do you have any like way of measuring how far you can throw? Like, have you ever done like a practice?
There is
distance?
a course here. There's a course here that has like I think it's the longest frisbee golf hole in the world or whatever. It's like, I don't know, like 200 yards, 300 yards or something like that. They have like the 100, 200, 300, 400 markers.
Nice.
So that that'd be the best place to go to really give it your all and challenge yourself to see how far you can
I'd
go.
love to do something like that. That'd be fun.
That's a nice course too. They even have it's like, how was it, like 28 holes. They even have a little halfway through the course they got a little mini like a snack bar where you can get like snacks and beer. It's really cool.
Always good to have something like that. Freshen up along the way. Cool. Well, it's your half, sir. Take the reins.
It's
Take
my
it for a
half, you
spin.
guys. I'm in charge.
Take it for a drive. What do you want to talk
Taking
about?
it for a drive. Where are we going? I'm driving this sucker to bed. All right, so one of the things I've always wondered, how much effort goes into the Shen's TV appearance before you start a stream? Like you got the hair, the mustache, the fancy done up goatee beard thing. I love it. And you're always dressed nice. You always got a tie on. You're always looking sharp.
Not always. For the good shows we have ties. Yeah. I think because I've been doing it for so long, like I've been doing this since middle school, pretty much. So I'd have to say, at this point, it's just kind of like part of the routine. So putting on
part of your everyday.
Putting on underwear, jeans, and a shirt compared to putting on underwear, dress shirt, pants, vest, tie, it's like maybe 1 or 2 more minutes. It's not like that big of a change.
Yeah.
The hair kind of takes care of itself. I just have to make sure I brush it a couple times a day to keep it from getting too tangled. It's much longer than I normally have it, but it's just because I don't feel like going to a stylist during a pandemic. I'll suffer through the long hair for a little while longer, and
that's why I'm wearing my hat.
There you go. Don't have to worry about it. Just tuck it in. Just tuck it in. I only iron my good shirts, so like my tuxedo shirts, anything with like a fancy lapel or something like that needs to be ironed. But most of the time they'll just be without wrinkles if they're hung properly and washed properly. So it's nothing like that I have to do. And then mustache, takes a little bit, not much. I got it down to a science. This was very uncooperative when it was growing out.
Didn't want to work with you.
As I'm sure you have known.
Oh God, yeah. I've had days where this thing just doesn't want to stay put, so man. Like I get bad static, and it just
even when it's been grown that long and trained for that long, it still has its bad days to misbehave. So that's why I've been tying it, because then I get out of the shower, I dry it out, and then I tie it. And then as long as I do that, like, it'll stay in some good shape.
Nice.
For
I've
the
tried
rest of
doing
the
the
day.
mustache thing like you, because I got the mustache. I just can't get it to do the whole thing. Do you use a product or something? You got
I
something
do.
special for it?
I have,
Okay.
I have a good wax that I use.
Nice.
Mustache
Nice.
wax. Gotta find good stuff. For sure. And I've actually had to recently shape it differently, because I normally would go to the side and then it started like curling forward. So then I had a different technique where I could actually like pinch the base and have it go pretty much straight up, which was good. But now it's like starting to impede my vision. So now I have to figure out how to like pinch up and then to the side. So
Keep seeing something like in your peripherals. Like, what
no,
is that?
it was
Oh, it's my mustache.
it was 2 weeks ago. I was lying in bed. It was the end of the day, and so my mustache was like all frayed. So there were like 12 groups of mustache hair just impeding my vision from like here down in my vision. So I was like laying in bed trying to look at my phone, and I'm like looking through a forest trying to see my phone. And I was like, "What the fuck? I can't see my phone." I was like, what is going on with my mustache?" So I have to like find a new way. Like if I have it like this, then it's not in my vision. But when it's like that, it's kind of, it's becoming a problem. So I'm having to find new
Too
ways
long.
got to find new ways to shape it to get it to work. So that's where I'm at right now.
Are you gonna go with another color after the red here? Or are you just gonna let this bleed out?
I would like to let my hair repair itself and not constantly be damaged. It would be nice.
Gotcha.
But as has been the case the last 2 times, it's not up to me. So
Uh-oh.
I don't get a say in these matters. I did have one idea though, is that if this does get too like faded, I can just use like henna. It's gonna probably be pretty close to my natural color, so I could probably just get it with a henna to get it back to a brownish hue until it grows back in again. So that might be what I do. We'll see.
Yeah. Nice. Okay, so another thing I've always wondered, Shens, like I think one of the first times I ever watched you, you were heavy into doing one of your shoutcasts and just like calling the race fast, pop, pop, pop,
5
popping
months.
it off. Do you have a background in anything that makes you good at doing that the way you do? Did you do anything that maybe gives you an edge at that?
I don't think so. I mean, I have theater and singing. Singing probably gives me the biggest edge because just of breath control, pronunciation, things like that. So that's probably as close as I get to it is singing. But I just always had appreciation for it. I've had appreciation for auctioneers. A couple good comedy bits. So Spike Jones and the Sage Slickers had a couple horse racing goofs. Monty Python had Upper Class Twit of the Year. And even like just like speed talkers in general, or fast rapping, or even like really good fine print readers for the ends of commercials. Like I've always had an appreciation for that kind of a talent. It's interesting to me.
It is. I mean, I probably don't have like the same level of appreciation you do, but I know what you're talking about.
Yeah, it's one of the few things humans have an evolutionary advantage in, right? It's one of the more evolved mouths of most animals. You have minor birds and a couple others that can imitate sounds a little bit better than we can, but we have a tentacle in our mouth. It's pretty dang good. And the lips, not everything has lips, so we've got some unique advantages biologically. So anything like that, where it's because humans evolutionarily are not that great. They're not very strong for their size. They can't jump very high for their size. They can't
More
run
fragile.
very fast for their size. They got very good endurance, so we have that going. So that's another thing that I'm always interested in is like endurance running. Um, there's actually, I think he was actually featured on. I don't know if you know, but Spike Lee did or Stanley, sorry, Stanley did a TV
Oh, the
series like
superhuman show.
real life superheroes that he did,
Yeah.
and he featured a marathon runner who was famed to be able to jog indefinitely or run indefinitely. And so they like hooked up all his vitals to monitoring equipment and had him run. And they found out that his style of running was so efficient that his lactic acid levels were actually lower when he was running than when he was sitting.
Yeah, I think I remember that
Like
one.
it's insane. So like stuff like that, I'm just like, oh, like he literally could run forever as long as he had calories and water, right?
That
Like
was that was a good show. I remember like the one I remember was a dude who sat in a bath of ice water.
yeah,
He could maintain a level body temperature like no matter
yeah,
even if he was it was that was I was
yeah.
like what that
And
was a
he,
cool
I
show
think
though.
that's the same guy that ran the Arctic Marathon, right?
Okay.
I think you're supposed to only run in your underwear or something, and you have to. It's like a marathon along the Arctic Circle kind of a thing.
How have I never seen your cat? Are you serious?
I don't know. She makes appearances almost daily. Hello,
What's her
this
name?
is Sadie. She's soon to be 19.
Oh my gosh, adorable.
Yeah, we rescued her from the outdoors because her mom was a feral cat that my grandmother was feeding. And then the feral cat didn't show up for a while, and then 4 babies showed up and no mommy showed up. So we took them in and tried to get them a home, and she was the only one that didn't find a home, so we gave her a home. And she's been a problem ever since. But not bad for a feral orphan, 19. And the runt. She has never weighed more than 10 pounds. Look at that's it. That's all she is. Just a little hand pistol.
Tiny little thing.
So, yeah, good stuff. But yeah. So any facets of humans that are unique evolutionarily, I'm always interested in. So yeah. That's where that comes from. What else you got?
Let's see here. What was what games other than marbles do you play on stream, and what was the first game you streamed and why?
I think the first game I streamed was StarCraft 2. I think the first YouTube game I played was Minecraft, but I was involved in other people's YouTube videos for prop hunt. That's what kind of got me into it. I had a friend, Grimlust, who I still have communication with to this day. He was like the streamer that got me into streaming, and he was doing prop hunt and a couple other things like the hidden. So I was in a couple of his videos for his YouTube channel, and then I think that was one of the first Tahiti Monday series. My tutorial YouTube series was for the hidden, which I think Sea Nanners made pretty popular on YouTube. It was a Gary's Mod custom game. So that was kind of like my first YouTube series. My very first YouTube video was the Hearthstone tutorial, because Naxxramas was the first like adventure mode that came out. So I did a tutorial series for Naxxramas on how to beat each boss with a like a minimal deck, because you always go to like look up what deck speed it. It's like, well, use these 12 rares and these 6 legendaries, and it's like, okay, what if I don't have those cards?
Yeah,
So I wanted to
what if I'm not working with what you got?
So I wanted to make decks that weren't too based in epics and legendaries. So I got that to work pretty well. I think some of the videos are over 2,000 hits. So it was a good start for sure. And so that was my first YouTube series, was Hearthstone. But as far as like playing games, I think it was Minecraft. That was really the first thing that got me into YouTube, and then streaming was probably StarCraft that turned into Hearthstone. And I would stream when I was playing with other friends. So like when I was helping my friend make prop hunt videos, I would stream when I was helping him record. So there's kind of like a two-sided content to it that way. But yeah, those were the first stream and YouTube games. The basics, the big ones.
Nice. I still see you playing Minecraft from time to time too.
Yeah, they've been.
It's a classic.
They're in their second
still
renaissance,
holds
so it's
value.
always good to keep up with all the new changes that are coming in. So yeah. What about you? What was your start to gaming or start to streaming?
Oh, my start to gaming was a ColecoVision. And the game Ladybug. That was my gaming addiction as a God. How old was I? Like 6 or 7 years old, playing on that ColecoVision. The worst style of control. Have you ever seen a ColecoVision controller?
I can't say I have.
It's like a rectangular box that you hold in your hand with a small joystick on top of it. So you're holding it like this.
Oh, I think I know what you're talking about. Like it's a big box, and you have a
Well,
little.
I mean, it's a little bit bigger than your hand, a little bit bigger than your hand, right?
Oh, okay.
But you're holding the joystick while you're playing for hours, and when you're
Yeah,
done playing,
yeah.
this claw like trying to crack your hand open.
Because the one I'm thinking of, it's a bigger one, and I think it was basically they just like took the panel from an arcade game, and they just like took it out of the arcade game and gave it a plug into the console.
Oh
That's
yeah,
the one I'm
I've seen
thinking
those
of.
too. Yeah.
Yeah.
No, this is like around the time of Atari. It's like old way back then. I still have my ColecoVision. I just can't find an adapter to hook it up to any modern television.
When I was in college, one of my friends got one of those Atari packages. So they basically remake the Atari. It's not an original Atari, but it's the same fabrication, right? It's like I don't see, other than like historic value, I don't see a difference between playing on an original and a newly fabricated, like especially with like an N60 or a Super Nintendo controller. Like I would rather have a modern Super Nintendo controller than an original Super Nintendo controller.
Oh yeah, definitely.
I have Super Nintendo controllers and they suck. I want the new ones.
Yes, give me the new ones that are more comfortable, ergonomic.
They work a lot better. So I would be fine with that. So it was a refabricated Atari essentially, and built into the little joystick with the one button was everything. So you would just plug that into your TV, and it had like 250 Atari games.
Okay, yeah, I was gonna say that's the one that had the games built right into it. Those are cool.
It was perfect. So that was really fun to play around with. There was some serious games out. There was one that was like it was kind of like a Yukon Trail ripoff, and it was like a scroller with different story moments. So like there'd be like a story moment, and you have to choose which way you want to go, and then that would get you into like a side scroller. So it's like you approach a river. Oh my goodness, Simplord. It's like they never learn. Anyway, so you had like these story moments, and it's like you approach a river. Do you want to ford across it? Do you want to go along it? And if you go along it, then like you have to like race through the desert, and there's like tumbleweed,
kind of like Oregon Trail.
There'd be like tumbleweeds and cactuses, and you'd have to like move your carriage to not get it hit. And then if you forded the river, you were like in like a boat reimagining of your carriage, and then like you had to dodge the rocks and watch out for logs and things like that.
It sounds familiar.
Yeah, it was actually a lot of fun. And then there were like boss levels where like there'd be bandits, and it would be you with a gun, and then you'd move around on the screen, and the bandits would come from either side, and you have to like turn and shoot each one. And like it was for an Atari game, I was like, wow, like
But yeah, thinking back on it, like that was way ahead of its time.
That was really good. Yeah. So, yeah, I know what you're talking about. Those kind of games.
Yeah, like nostalgic classics, man. Like, oh man, I played the heck out of that Ladybug game because if you're not unfamiliar with Ladybug, it's a lot like Pac-Man,
Okay.
but there's doors that pivot.
Mm-hmm.
So while the bad guys are chasing you, now they're not ghosts. In this game, they were vegetables, right?
The mortal enemy of ladybugs, as we all
So
know.
you'll be chased by turnips, right? You'll be
Right.
chased by a turnip,
Right.
and if it's right behind you, you could like go through a door and like pivot the door to cut them off.
Ah. Okay.
So it
Okay.
was I almost look at it as like Pac-Man on crack.
Right. A better Pac-Man.
Yeah, oh man, because it would get so intense, especially with that shitty controller I just told you about too. Just trying to move around super fast, and you're like, I can't feel my wrist.
Yeah.
I still
Cool.
remember playing that game, even though it was 30 plus years ago.
That's what sticks with you. Those they mold you a certain way going forward. So I hear you. I hear you. What else do we want to talk about? I'm
Let's
game.
see what else I got for you. Were you big into games as a kid? Like not just like even maybe before video games, outdoor games, board games. Like did
Big
you
board
ever
game fan.
like skateboard parks with the friends,
I
riding your
was
bikes, going off jumps?
I was fortunate enough to grow up in the era of big board games. So there was like Fireball Island, which was a
Oh God, I remember
three
that.
by four 3D mold of an island, and you had little hiker guys, and there was a giant volcano demon with a marble fireball and different marble paths that would knock you down. And there was Tornado Rex. Do you remember Tornado Rex?
I don't
That was
remember
another
that
good
one.
one. It was like a big slalom track that was like 2 feet tall. It was like a huge plastic mold, and there was like a slalom track, and you had to like get your dude up to the top, but there was a top with a picture of like a not the Tasmanian devil for legal reasons. And so the top would be wound up in the top of the mountain, and you would go through, and if you flipped the bad card, you had to hit the button, and the top would like careen down, going. It was like, oh, it was like such a visceral game. Like there were so many of those games. There was another one, Forbidden Bridge. That's what it was called. That was like the most advanced one. So that one, you had a couple different stages to get to, and then the final stage, you went up a mountain, and then there's a bridge to like the gems, and there's like this, ancient head with the two paws holding the gems, and the two paws were anchored onto the bridge, and it was an actual like rope bridge. So when your dude was on it, you would have to press the head, and the hands would like rock the bridge, and your dude would literally like be moving on the bridge, and if you fell off, wherever you landed is where you picked up and had to start over again from. So it was like actually trying to get a guy across a hanging bridge. Like it was so well done. Love those things. So those were all really
Interesting,
good.
interesting mechanic for a board
Right.
game. Yeah.
And like the dudes would be positioned like they were positioned like this. So there was a chance like this part, it was like a 3-corner hook, would like catch the rope and not fall off, and then you could take a turn to get back onto the bridge. Or if you're in this one, you only have the 2 to catch on. And if you caught on that, you're like, oh my God, that's so lucky. Like my other hand caught it. Like. So there were a couple of really good, like, and that was just the era of board games back then. It was all about the mechanics rather than the strategies.
I haven't even looked around nowadays. I wonder what kind of stuff they're producing nowadays as far as new board games.
Well, I think that's what they found was that as far as manufacturing goes, right? If you put the money into research into making a good game, then you can get away with lower production quality and not much, like maybe a deck of cards and a board, rather than a mountain and an ancient idol with moving parts and all these little tiny prize pieces and everything that you have to manufacture, right? I think it's just the market has favored smaller, more efficient games, unfortunately. But those old-fashioned big ones, man, they're always gonna have a place in my heart. I love those things.
Memorable.
Good stuff. Did you ever have any games like that growing up?
I mean, Clue. I remember playing Clue a lot. Break the Ice.
Yes, so that's what I'm talking about. Stuff like that.
Yeah.
Stuff that had like pieces.
Yeah,
Three-dimensional
now,
games.
Tapping those little ice blocks, trying not to make them all crumble.
Yeah. Kerplunk. Did you ever play Kerplunk with the marbles and the sticks?
Yep.
Oof, those are good.
Don't let the marbles drop.
Those
don't
good.
Get the most marbles anyways.
Yep. Always good. So yeah.
God, Mousetrap. That was like one of the first games I played with like just crazy mechanics for a board game. It was just like, what's going on here?
Yep. All good. Cool. I like it.
And I still play. Now it's not board games, but now it's tabletop games.
Yes.
Yeah. So I mean, like me and the buds, we got into Gloomhaven. We started playing that on tabletop. And let me tell you, whoa. Because there's no dice involved. It's all card based.
Right.
And like the initial setup when we first opened the box took us like 2 hours.
Yeah. Those are always a little daunting to start because like you have a 200-page rule book, and most of it is just looking it up in each situation. But it's still good to read through the whole thing just to have it in the back of your mind. That's like how the game works. And then you have like 40 different types of cards, and you have to know what each one does, and like then you have to There's a couple ones like that. It's a
steep learning curve, but it's a heck of a fun game.
Yeah, well, if you get enough people that have enough understanding of it, it is a lot of fun. I'm trying to think. It was like Amulet or something like that. It was like that. There was the map. It was just one big map, and you just went in a big oval. But there were so many like pieces of cardboard and decks and items, and like it was so convolutedly complicated. It took me, I think, 3 games before I even knew how to win.
Before you figured out what was going on.
Some of my friends were trying to get me into it, and like, but it was that thing where like you had enough people who knew enough about the game to make it fun. So it takes a little bit of investment.
I think that was similar to my first experience with Catan.
Yeah.
Settlers of Catan, like the people I played with, they knew what they were doing. I was like, wait, you got wood? Like, who's got some wood? Give me some sheep. Such a fun game, but yeah, like just learning it at the start was like, what?
I hear you. That was good. Ooh, what else you got? I'm ready. Hit me with another one.
What else do I got here? Got any siblings? Do you have any siblings that,
2 older brothers, 5 and 8 years older.
Okay, all right.
Gap.
They were pop in here and
I
razz
spoke my
on you,
own
give you a hard
language till
time.
I was about 4 or 5. There's a weird thing with children where if there's 2 children that are very close in age and everyone else is not close, they'll usually have their own language that they speak. And I did that by myself. I just had my own language to myself. So it was a little weird. But it was a big gap, so it was always kind of weird because it was always one in each stage, right? So it was like college, high school, middle school, and then it was out of college, high school, and then it was out of college with a family, college, or out of college and college, right? Like, so it was like there's always been like a kind of a generation gap between each of us.
Gotcha.
So it's
just that
a little weird.
Perfect age difference.
Yeah, it was a little weird growing up with that big of a difference, but
how are things now?
Still
now that
great.
you're all grown up, or everybody gets along now?
We hang out, we eat, we make fancy food and fancy drinks, and play poker and have a good time.
That's awesome. Yeah, as I know, I have just one sibling, a sister, and we used to go at it when we were younger, but now that we're older, things are good. It's time, kids, siblings as kids, but once you grow out of it,
it is what it is. So going, let's kind of loop this back on itself here. As far as marbles goes, it is a bit of a catch-all. I don't think it favors any one demographic. I think there's a bit of a bias to thinking it's a younger crowd just because Twitch overall is a younger crowd. But as far as like the marbles community goes, I think it's a pretty even swath of everyone, like all ages, genders, races.
I definitely agree. I mean, you got all age ranges. You know, I mean, like you said, all demographics. We're hitting everybody with marbles. Everybody finds some common ground in marbles, something that they like or find exciting about it. So like you said, it's what'd you say? All grabbing, all encompassing, or whatever.
Yeah, grab all.
Grab all. That's it.
Do you think that's more attributive to the universal appeal of the game, or do you think that's more because of the way the community structures itself?
I'd say a little bit of both. Yeah, definitely. I mean, the community is very welcoming. It makes it very easy for new people to come in and find out what's going on. You know, like, hey, like, well, I don't even know what I'm doing. What do I do? You know, people are more than willing to, you know, say, hey, how you doing? Welcome in. You know, like, oh, we know this is what we do here. We hang out. You know, this is very welcoming and just the game itself, just, you know, it's drop a marble, hang out.
Right.
You know, it's no pressure really.
Yeah, I think so marbles does have that simplicity on the surface. So it's a pretty easy general concept to wrap your head around. Even something like Tilted, you can still kind of get someone up to snuff in about 3 or 4 sentences. So it is easy to get into, but it still has those layers of complexity that you can keep falling deeper and deeper into to keep you around, right? So it's easy enough to get into, but it's not so simple that you get tired of it.
That's right? True. Like
that probably
the newer you are into marbles, you keep finding new stuff that you didn't know about. Like, wait, what is it? I didn't know about that. I still do that.
It happens to all of us. But I would say I think it's more the community, if I had to really nail it down. So, like, there is that on the surface appeal that it's easy to get into. But, like, a lot of communities, I would say, probably push women out more disproportionately. And I think a lot of other communities kind of shun a lack of performance, right? So, like, if you're in the chess community, unless you're a grandmaster, no one's going to watch you, right? Because they know more than you do. They don't want to watch you make mistakes and just be there screaming at their screens, right? So, I think marbles has a unique angle in that, and that it's not very skill based. It more tests your ability as a streamer than as a gamer.
True.
I think that reinforces the community aspect of it. And so because it's more streamer to streamer rather than gamer to gamer, you have better interactions. So it's the community that really holds it together, I think.
Yeah, it really drives the game.
That's what I think.
It's nice to see it going so strong after all this time too. So it's a really good thing to see.
Yeah, good.
And still maintaining such a positive, you know, community going forward this long. Yeah, just, you know, it's great.
Very good. Big growth recently on that. So I always kind of remark season 17 was like the season, right? That's when everything kind of blew up. And we've kind of just stayed there. Like there was this big expansion, and then it just kind of It was like, we're growing, and then it went pump, and then it just kept growing. I was like, oh. Like, I was expecting like a little bit of a shrink back or a stall or something, but no, just like we're growing, boom, and we're still growing. It's just like, what in the heck? Did you kind of see that in your stream too with that around season 17, or were you just kind of coasting through doing your own thing?
Just coasting, doing my own thing, just maintaining my average peeps coming in every now and then and get some new peeps in there. But I got my regs. You always got your regular peoples that come by, and you love them because they're great to you. They're good peeps.
They keep you going.
Yeah, that's why we do it.
Backbone of the stream.
Yeah. We do it. We do it. I do it because I love playing games and because I love playing games with people.
Yep. Yeah.
So that's where my love of streaming came from. Is I love playing games with people, even if I'm not playing. That's where Marbles has an enjoyment level for me too. Is even if I'm not playing the game,
right?
I can enjoy and that's why I love watching people stream too, because I get enjoyment watching people play games as well as playing them.
Yeah, for me, that kind of goes with me in content too, right? So I have to watch back my stuff 6 times to produce it, like minimum, because like I have to I'm watching it when I'm doing it, kind of from that narrator perspective, and then I have to watch it back when I do the raw cut, and then I have to put everything together, and I have to watch it again, then I have to render it, and then I have to watch it again, and then I have to watch it after the render, and then I have to upload it on YouTube, and then watch it again after it's uploaded to make sure it's uploaded properly. So like everything I have to watch 6 times, and that informs me as an entertainer, but it doesn't really inform me for content as well. And so any chance I get to watch someone else watching my content, I learn a lot more than when I watch myself 6 times editing a video. So I kind of get that, and like watching someone else play a game is like, because you're able to watch the whole, you're able to absorb the whole process. Like, it was perfect example, StarCraft 2, right? If I'm streaming StarCraft 2, I can't read chat. I'm doing 240 actions a minute. I've got mini map that I'm keeping tabs on. I'm orchestrating 4 different bases. I got 2 different groups of defending armies. Like,
real-time strategy. You got time for chat?
We are not reading chat for the next 20 minutes. Like, I'm in it, right? And then same thing as like on a viewer base, you're kind of sucked into watching all the action and trying to keep tabs of everything that's going on. So when you have that third person observing, you're able to see it all happening in a way you can't see when it's happening, right? And I think that's when you learn the most, because you have the broadest perspective when you're doing that. So I definitely agree. Even as something as simple as just playing games with your friends, having that third person perspective is a lot more informing than
that's like else. What you just described. That's how it started. Me and my best friend, just hanging out, playing single player games that we have to take turns playing. And like one of us is sitting there watching the other one play for a couple hours, and then we take, but it's still fun watching, as just as much fun watching as playing. And that's kind of where I got that love for, like, just as much, or that's where I developed the ability to enjoy watching and playing.
I agree. It's good stuff. Anything else you want to get into? We can wrap up a little early.
I covered everything I got.
But, anything still plaguing your mind, we can touch in on it for sure.
I already covered everything I got written down for questions or whatever.
Cool. How long is the beard? I have to know. How long?
I've never measured, man.
Measure it. You got a measuring device in the near vicinity?
I do not.
Oh man. Yeah.
I don't.
It's all right. It's significant. That's significant. That's more than a hand. Yeah, it's more than a hand, I would imagine. That's like at least a full head. That's good length.
It's a lot of beard. It's still not enough. I'm not done.
Still not enough.
I want more beard.
I need more. Oh, you got a sheet of paper? Because we know a sheet of paper. Can we hold a sheet of paper up to it? Because a sheet of paper is what, 11 inches? So you're almost full foot. You're close to a full foot there. It's good. It's good. I like it.
This all started as a remembrance thing for my best friend's brother who had passed. As his younger brother always had a really big beard. And so when his younger brother passed, me, my best friend, and his younger brother's best friend, we all started growing beards. And I liked it so much I kept it.
Yeah, you have a very unique shape because most people are either bushy or it's more out, but you've got a nice profile.
I brush it a lot.
Yeah, but still though, like usually people will have more coming out to the side. Like even with Pixel, right? His is much shorter than yours, and it's much wider. And mine goes crazy if I don't have it tamed in. So
yeah, I like to keep it kind of like that pointy.
Yeah, no, it's well done. It's well done.
Well, thank you.
Game recognizes game, as they say.
I can honestly say the same for you, my Franks. I've always thought the same thing about your mustache and stuff going on. It's amazing.
I don't know why mine's splitting today. I got two.
Oh,
today.
You want to see that?
Oh yeah, let's go for it. There it is. Now we got the splits. Split brother. There it is. Yeah. Yeah.
It's almost like natural, like it wants to split
right?
too.
I don't know why it insists on doing it like that. It's like, come on, man. That's good though.
I feel like what is it, the shuttle in Star Wars? The shuttle that Vader lands in or whatever.
That's good. That's good. Well, sir, I think I'm satisfied. Are you satisfied?
I'm good. I had a blast.
It's just been delightful chat. Good stuff.
Yeah,
thanks for coming out.
Good time.
Thank you all for watching. This is going to end the YouTube portion of the show. We will continue with a little bit of chat Q&A after the show. Got to be here live if you want to see it every Saturday on the Shen's TV. That's the thing that we're on right now. That thing.
It's his channel, y'all. That's where you're at.
Thank you for being here.
Thank you.
Awesome stuff.
Thank you.
Anything
I'm very happy I was able to make it this time.
It worked. It always does in the end. Anything you'd like to promote before we go?
Nope, nothing.
Not even like a marathon of some kind you might be hosting in the near future?
Oh, I'll let you know.
Okay.
I do plan on hosting another one of your Hour Track marathons. I don't have a date or anything planned.
That's
but
all right. Well,
I'll let
our
you know.
ears are open, eyes peeled, ready to go. Well, thank you again. It's been delightful, and we'll see you next week for the next episode.
Later.